In this tutorial video, I'm going to show you how to add an iMovie theme. So when you come up here to File and hit New Project, up here you'll see the word Project Themes. Now what this is just a cool little theme that you can add to your video. Now to get a quick example of what this theme would look like with your video, all you need to do is click on the theme and you can see here in this viewer window what that theme would look like with your video. Now when you've decided which one of these themes you want, all you need to do is click on it, and then just like any other project you create, you can name your project, you can change the aspect ratio and the frame rate, and you also have the choice of automatically adding transitions and titles to your theme. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and leave this option clicked. So let's go ahead and hit Create. As soon as you hit Create, you'll probably notice that nothing really happens. And that's because you need to add footage down here into your project timeline before you'll notice the effects of that theme. So if I come up here and add some footage down into my project, you'll notice now that it's already added a start to that theme. And so now if I add a little bit more footage, you'll notice now that it will automatically continue adding the rest of that theme to my video, along with a closing transition to close out the video. Now if you want to change this title text here, all you need to do is click on it in your project timeline, and up here you can change the title text. Now if we decide we want to add a little bit more footage, we can do that. We can come up here, click on some more footage, and add that down into our project. And as we start doing so, you'll notice it automatically adds a transition in between these two video clips. And if we play that back, you'll see the theme transition that's been added. And if we continue adding new footage, you'll notice that it continues adding a transition in between all this new footage that we've added. Now let's say, for example, that you want to add your own transitions. You don't want the theme to add them for you. So if you come up here to File and hit New Project, and start a new project with that same theme, and unclick Automatically Add Transitions and Titles and hit Create, you'll notice once again a blank timeline, and as we start adding footage, you'll notice as we're adding this footage that it's not automatically adding that theme title or transitions. And it does that because you unchecked the Automatically Add Transitions and Titles, but you can still add those in manually. If you come over here to the Titles tab and click on it, you'll notice that it's added this film strip theme into your Title tab. So if you click and drag it over the top of one of your clips, you'll notice now that it will add that title text there. And then you can go ahead and make those same changes that you did previously. Now if you want to add those same theme transitions, you can do the same thing by hitting on the Transition tab, and you'll notice here that it's added all the theme transitions into your Transition tab. And by clicking on one of those transitions and dropping it in between your clip, you'll notice now that it adds that theme transition to your video. Now another thing that you can do with the transitions inside an iMovie project with a theme is click on the transition, and you can actually change what video is shown in these transitions. So you'll see these numbers here, this number 1 which correlates to this number 1 down here in your project timeline, and number 2 which correlates with this number 2 down in your project timeline. Now if you click and drag that number 1 over, you can actually change the video that's up here by where this number 1 is placed in your project timeline. And if we move the second one over a little bit further and then play this back, you'll notice now that the transition has actually changed what part of the video is playing in that part of your project. Just like any other transition, you can double click on it to open it up in the inspector and change the duration. And just like that, we've changed the length of that transition to 4 seconds. Now let's say, for example, that you start a new project and you've selected no theme, so you don't want to add a theme to your project. Let's go ahead and add some footage to our project. And let's say that after adding all this footage, we now decide that we want to add a theme to our project. You can do this. If you come up here to File, you can hit Project Theme and click on it. And just like that, you can now add a theme to your project even though you've already added footage into your project timeline. And as soon as you select which one you want, you still have the option of automatically adding transitions and titles. So let's just go ahead and click on it for this example and hit OK. And just like that, it automatically adds that theme with transitions and titles into your iMovie project. And that's a tutorial on how you use themes in iMovie.